in and give you Andrew. Let's set you up here.
I think I'll stand right now for that's okay, everybody. My name's Andrew. I'm a drug addict.
Hey, Andrew.
I'm also powerless over alcohol.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
make it official.
Okay.
Give something to lean on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I'm extremely thankful to be here. I don't really consider myself, thank you, brother.
Yeah, of course.
I don't consider myself anybody special. I'm just another drunk that came into these rooms and just saved my life, man. It's for real, you know. I'm gonna dive right into some of what I've been through, some of my experiences. I'm not one of these people to tell you my horror stories, and we all know how to drink and get fucked up, right? So I'm not here to teach you how to do that, or not teach you, but I'm not here to tell you about how I did that. I'm preaching to the choir on that. But I'm gonna tell you a few things I did, some things I went through, and I want to get you to the solution tonight that saved my life, you know. So first of all, I'll just start out at the beginning, man. When I was a child, I came from a real violent childhood. My dad was a very angry man, very violent. He hurt my mother, beat her ass all the time, and he started beating me and my brother. And then when I was about 7 years old, it became sexual abuse, you know. And that's been hard. I've been recovered. I just started talking about that 3 months ago. I never talked about that to anybody, you know, because it's hard as a 6'2", 270-pound man to admit that, you know. But I've learned to be searching and honest in this program. That's what happened. And I'm not telling you that to make you feel bad for me, because I'm not a victim of that today, right? I'm not a victim. The reason I tell you that is because this is my first exposure to resentments. As a young kid, I started hating and resenting my father. I remember being a kid praying he would die, man. I hated him so much because I couldn't stop him. And so I grew up with resentment. That's my first exposure to resentments in my life. And it already started eating away at me, man. I was miserable as a child. That miserable feeling, not comfortable in my own skin, that's how it's been since I can remember, man. Really, since I was little and all that was happening. I just didn't feel right after that. I joined the military at 18 to get away. I was angry. I needed a place just to go get that out. And I joined the infantry. Got to my unit. I'd actually never drank anything in my life. And I got to my unit. They were having a party. I went in. There was a table, one of these tables. And they had shot glasses on the table. And the lower enlisted soldiers, like E3 and below, the new soldiers, they had us in lines. And they were making us drink and making bets on who's going to throw up or pass out first, you know. That probably be considered easy today. But back then when that was happening, man, that was initiation of that platoon. Once you get that, you're a part of this platoon now. We had orders to deploy to Afghanistan 6 months later. Within 3 months, guys, I went from drinking on the weekends partying to drinking every day, starting about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And everybody else around me was drinking, you know. If you weren't drinking, you were the weirdo. And that's just the military culture, you know. So I was drinking for fun. I was drinking because I get to fit in with these guys. I had a staff sergeant who was 24 years old and had deployed 5 times. And he was a real killer. And that was the man I wanted to be. I couldn't look up to my dad. Started looking up to these guys that went to Iraq 3 times and Afghanistan twice. And that mentality, to me, that's what a man is, you know? A man, that's a man, bro. And I wanted to be like them. And alcohol helped me be one of them. You know, alcohol, I fell in love with it the first time I ever had it, man. You know, I don't gotta tell y'all. I'm somebody who falls in love with, I fall in love with what I put in my body, man. If it makes me feel different, I just give my soul to it, you know? Within months, I'm drinking alcoholically. We go to Afghanistan, we're on the plane, we're all shaking because we're all coming off of alcohol on the way there. We call it the Kandahar Shake. We went to Kandahar, the Kandahar Shakes, and made a lot of jokes about it. Looking back, it's not as funny, man. I was an alcoholic, didn't realize it. At 18, 19 years old. I was 19 when I deployed to Afghanistan. Within a couple of weeks, we had people sending us alcohol in the mail. I went on a patrol every other day for 8.5 months, and I was drunk every single time I ever went out the wire. Because I was scared, okay? And I've always been a man that can't admit when I'm afraid. But today I can. I was scared. I didn't want to die in combat where you're in pain until your last breath, you know, seriously. I had a fear of losing my feet, losing my legs. There's IEDs in the ground. They trained us for all that. And so I was drinking for fun. Now I'm drinking because I'm in fear. I'm drinking fear. Now I'm using alcohol to cope with fear. If I'm going to go out like that, I want to have a buzz. You know, I ain't trying to die like that sober, man. That was our mentality. And probably the worst thing that happened to me, and I just share this because it's part of my life, man. There was a guy in front of me. We were in line. We were on patrol in a village looking for Taliban targets, you know. And I ain't no Chris Kyle, nobody's hero or nothing, but I did see some combat. Got my combat infantry badge and everything. Got shot at, got missiles. It was pretty wild over there, you know. I accepted that I'm probably going to die. Like I had that, I'm probably not going to make it home. Because that's how they train you, to just be in that mindset. So there was a guy in front of me, man. He had an IED and lost his right leg. And I happened to be close by. I'm 19 at the time, 19 years old. One of the medics came by and grabbed me and said, take an E-dots in. I put my hands out. He put an IV bag in my hand. And started hooking this man up. There was other soldiers that were putting the tourniquet on to stop the bleeding. And I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but this moment changed the rest of my life. This man was crying out for his wife and his children because he knew he was dying. And there was a smell of cooked steak, like when you go back by Outback Steakhouse, because his flesh was burning. And if anybody y'all been around a lot of blood, it smells like metal. And the first thing when I was smelling that, it was like pennies, like imagine smelling some pennies. It was such a strong odor of metallic because there was so much blood. And I've been told when you can remember those details, it's because that's called trauma. I was traumatizing. So I'm gonna fast forward, got back home. Now I'm drinking to forget, man. I went from fun, fear, I'm drinking to forget now. I don't want to talk about what happened. I was one of those veterans. I don't want to talk about it, don't ask me. Now I'm resentful at the US government. I'm resentful at the people that made decisions that got people killed. I'm so angry, guys, at everybody. I'm in conflict, the book says. I'm in conflict with everybody and everything. And so I'm drinking just ridiculous. I'm drinking like a pig at this point every single day. Starting to affect my marriage. I got married and starting to have problems there. I did get out of the military honorably. Did well. I got out as an E5 sergeant. Did pretty well. And I got home, started hanging out with some guys from high school. Y'all know the story, man. I started smoking weed. And I'll just go through it quickly. I'll talk about 2 months. Within a matter of months, guys, I'm somebody that if it makes me feel different than how I feel sober, I want it. I want more of it. I want to have it all every day, all the time. How can I make it last longer, feel better? It's never been the word stop. This addiction talks to me and it says more. Mm-hmm. Somebody told me this is a disease where your brain says more and your body says stop. You know, and I kind of relate with that. Within a couple months, I'm smoking cocaine, pain pills, Adderalls, whatever's coming through. Anything that's coming through, guys. I didn't say no to nothing, man. Toward the end of it, somebody put 2 bumps in front of me and I took them. And I was up for about 48 hours. And that was my first time exposed to methamphetamine. And they didn't tell me, I thought it was coke. And so I was like, wow, this is a big coke, man. Wow. It was a whole nother ballgame. And he told me the guy said, look at this. He told me what it was. He said, man, it's other, bro. That is some clear, it ain't coke. And I felt bad and guilty for it. And I was like, fuck, screw it, let's get more, dude. I got $40 on the gram. And that's how I go, man. Anything, I didn't even care that it was methamphetamine. To me, it was just Skittles, bro. I didn't care. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel better. And I'm somebody that suffers from depression sometimes. And back then, bro, that dope makes me not depressed. You know, I like that energy. I started liking stems. And for 3 years, I was a methamphetamine user. So I'm going to skip forward. There came a time where I started drinking again. I think the dope was kind of low for a little while. I couldn't get it. So I just substituted with alcohol. And I hadn't been drinking like that in a little bit. I started blacking out real bad. One night I destroyed my house, I was told, I don't remember. I was terrified of my wife and kids. She left me and took my kids, put me under a restraining order, and was going for a divorce. And I ruined my family, guys. I just totally destroyed it. Totally burned it to the ground. Thinking I was the victim. You know, thinking I'm the victim. They should feel bad for me. You know, I'd be told by people in these rooms that I was hurting them. You know, I didn't know. Because I'm selfish as hell. I'm selfish. But I destroyed my family. They left. That night, I'm the guy drunk and high. And outside these rooms, if I say that, they're like, wow, what a piece of garbage. But maybe y'all get it. At that time, I was trying to look for a solution to my problem. And I just went back and resorted to what I know will help me in the short term, at least. You know, I got taken out by police and got sent to a detox center. I didn't take it seriously. Didn't think I was a drug addict. I sat up in there in scrubs. thinking I ain't like y'all. Y'all are drug addicts. I slipped up this once. I ain't the drug addict. I mean, the book talks about me in there, the exception, but to the rule. I try to prove that I'm the exception to the rule, guys. I really thought that, you know. I'm one of those guys. What was I?
And detox.
I got out of detox.
And detox.
I got out of detox, and 30 days, I got high that day. 30 days later, I'm in jail with some serious charges. You know, and it's getting real. Now things I never thought would happen is not going to happen. Maybe y'all can relate. Stuff you never thought would happen. I'm in jail, wifeless, kidless, houseless. I got out of jail. I was living in a truck. You know, my first couple months in this program, I was living in a truck, just acting like the guy whistling in the dog run. Nothing's wrong. I'm going to the house, guys. See y'all Saturday. I'm living in Walmart. Too prideful to tell the truth to somebody. I never told nobody the truth in my entire life, really. I lied to everybody in my entire life because I have fear of what you think of me. I got fear of what you think of me. You know, I do that now. I'm powerless over that every day. And I'm powerless over that. So I got out of jail. I'm living in a truck. Stuff's done got real. And I'm getting beaten into a state of reasonableness at this point. Now I'm feeling the pain, stuff I never thought my wife would leave me. So that's why I never thought I'd be in jail. I'm a sergeant in the United States military. Honorable discharge. That don't mean nothing no more. I'm just some screw up. I've ruined everything. I went to a therapist and she told me to go to AA, and I stumbled in them rooms, man, broken and feeling like a miserable piece of garbage. I came in with my head down low, man. Feeling so worthless. You know, some of y'all know that feeling, just worthless, man. Hating myself. So I learned about self-resentment, hating myself. I got in these rooms and I didn't understand what y'all were talking about. I was like, why are they so happy? You know, it pissed me off a little bit at first. Like, why they got us? If you smiling like this, you ain't like me. You don't come from my background. If you can smile like this, I just couldn't get it that y'all had this experience, you know. And started hearing about sponsorship. Started hearing about the 12 steps. I kept coming back to meetings. Something kept drawing me back because the people in these rooms had something. And it was the first time I was seeing people that didn't have to talk shit to prove a point. I just got to look at their life, and it's going great. And they got 20-some years sober, and their families are in order, and they're nowhere near where I'm at in life. And I started considering that maybe I don't know everything. Maybe there's some people that know a lot more than me. Maybe I should just be quiet and listen to them. For once in my life, really. Maybe I should listen to somebody else, because guess what, guys? My way wasn't working. You know, I had to be honest with myself. You know, I've learned when you ask for help, you can't tell the help how to help. Just be quiet and listen to the help. That's what I've had to do. That sounded red. That saved my life, guys. Right there. Be quiet. My first sponsor told me to take the cotton balls out of your ears and put them in your mouth, son. That's what Rick Wilson told me that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, man. I thought I was going to teach y'all about it. I was going to come in 2 months sober and teach y'all something. But so I had to learn it, man. I had to be taught in this program, man. But I got me a sponsor, and I started getting into the steps. Now this is what I came for now, to talk about the steps. Step 1, they talk about, we admitted that we're powerless over alcohol, and that allows us to become unmanageable. All mind-altering substances, right? And I guess the whole time, guys, when I was trying to do it my way, I was trying to get the power back. I was trying to get the control back. And I read in the book where it says that thought that I can drink like other people has to be smashed. Because it's unrealistic, you know. This disease will convince me that I can handle it this time, when I've never once handled it my entire life. It'll convince me that the murder weapon is the solution. That what's killing me is helping me. That's a disease, you know. That's a true disease of the mind. The book tells me my problem, it ain't the people I can perceive did me wrong. My problem is in the center of my head, in my thinking. And I've never heard stuff like that before. What do you mean I'm the problem? Hell no. I ain't the problem. You are. How can you blame me? I don't have to take accountability for anything. You know, that's how I lived my life before this program. And I truly, guys, the book talks about, man, you got to do this at the desperation of a drowning man. If a man's drowning, he's not swimming half-assed, right? He's moving. He's kicking. He's fighting for his life. And it was explained to me that this is life or death. Work the steps or die, is what Rick Wilson told me. Work the steps or die. You know, if the steps are, hey, go get drunk. Is that easier? And I kind of came up under that direct, people telling me the truth. And I've learned that people that talk to me like that love me. And they actually care for me. That's my real friends in recovery, not people that validate my crap. Those, you know, and that's just my experience with it. You know, I came to believe in a power greater than myself, and it wasn't the God I grew up with, man. It wasn't the God other people put on me. It was, for the first time in my life, I actually had an experience with something of my own understanding. No one's ever pushed anything in these rooms on me. No one ever told me I got to put 10% in the plate, you know. Just come, drink coffee. If you got something, throw it in the plate. They didn't ask for nothing from me really at first. It was just come and listen. Go through these steps. I started a real relationship. And I didn't believe in God when I got here. My first conception of a higher power was the love I saw. So I saw love in here. To me, it was like love. When drunk folk come in and we go get their hand and bring them a chair and bring them some coffee. And don't tell them to get out like some churches do. I had never seen that in my life. I was like, wow, this is it. These people are real. And I've seen the people in here that what they say, they do, they walk it, man. And I respect that. So I started this relationship with this God. It was love. Like maybe the love these people have is coming from something. Because from my background, people are no good. People are no. I had a negative worldview. Most people are bad out to get me. You know, I'm safer just thinking that. I'm gonna keep myself safe. So I went to step 3, and this is a big one for me, man. Turn my will and my life over to the power of God as I understand Him. And my sponsor explained to me that, man, we're going to turn your will and your life over to God, even if it don't look anything like you think it should. A lot of people pray for God's will as long as it aligns with theirs. But I've learned in this program, my will gets me drunk and high and losing everything. That's my will, guys. When I'm in God's will, though, it's like I'm in this river and it's this flow, man. I used to swim against the current and I was just miserable. Now I'm just going with God's flow. And I'm finding some peace and happiness finally, man. Seriously. Step 4, man. Step 4 put me, it's the inventory, right? A lot of people get scared of it. The book says that list is the key to my future, guys. It's the key to our future. Nobody wants to do it. Because for once you got to look at your own self and you got to tell me what your problem is, but you can't blame people. Mm-hmm. You got to look at yourself. Because at the end of the day, I learned myself is the only thing I can do anything about. You know, the serenity prayer, you know, the things I can and can't change, right? There's things I can't change. I can change me. And that was explained, so I wrote down my resentments. And it was scary, guys. I never went there with somebody and been honest with a person. I wrote down my resentments, man, and there was a lot of them. My fears. I wrote down my sexual misconduct. I did a sex inventory, right? That's what the book says do. I did a 5th step. That's where I got with my sponsor. And I told that man for 2.5 hours my dirt. I read every page. My first inventory was 22 pages of stuff from back when I was a kid, man. And I read that to him. And you know what? He had been through a lot of the same stuff. Some of my abuse in childhood, my sponsor been through the same thing, man. It's crazy. I didn't think nobody else experienced these things. And they did. I did my 5th step, man. I went on to the 6th and 7th step. I took an hour and I prayed for God to take away this stuff, right? I'm summarizing. I got to step 8, and I think I had 30-something names that people that I had stole from. And my first sponsor told me this. He said, man, you're a thief and a liar. And I said, Rick, I'm a liar, but I ain't never stole no money and like metal and going into. I ain't stole people's stuff to go get money for drugs. I had some disability from the military. I had money for drugs. So it wasn't that. Anyway, I wrote a list of 30-some people. So my sponsor said, you're a thief and a liar. And I told him, I'm not a thief, man. He says, man, you stole hours of sleep from your mother. You stole peace of mind from your wife. And you stole time your children should have had a father from you. He said, you're a thief of time. And that was the first time in my life I was broken and shook to my core. This man saw Andrew for who Andrew really is. A scared, selfish, dishonest, angry man. And he called me out on it for the first time in my life, man. You know, I went and made amends. You know, a lot of people, they know we all do it different. Some sponsors do it differently. My sponsor made me go make eye contact with people because I did the hurting in person. My ego tells me I don't owe them nothing. You know, they did me wrong too. That's what the ego says. This program says we go to them and make those wrongs right. We go rectify our past. So I went to many people. Some people I had to write a letter because they called the police on me if I go to say, if I harm somebody, don't do it. That'd harm me, so I didn't do it. I ain't trying to go to jail over the amends, but I did write a letter. And I can honestly say all those people, I went back and I've made those. I'll tell you this, man, when I go back to somebody I stole from and pay them back, I go back to somebody I lied to and tell them the truth, and they accept that amends, whether they accept it or not, really. I walk away with this sense of freedom, man. So I went to step 10, man. I'm going to end real quick. I started praying I started doing daily inventories. Now every day, Because I believe this is a lifestyle. It's more just coming to meetings for me. If I just come to meetings, I'll die. I got to be in the step work, okay? So I'm doing daily inventories. Every single day I'm watching for dishonesty, selfishness, self-centeredness, fear, anger, resentment. And I write that down. I do 9 questions from this book. And that's my inventory that I do every night. Not every night, but every night that I can remember to. I try to do it. I won't lie to you. I try to do it as often as I can because it helps me. 11, I started doing prayer meditation, guys, and it took me a minute on prayer. Like, what do you mean pray? My sponsor, I'm not asking you to understand it. I'm just asking you to do it. Just do it. And I had to trust him. And I started praying for 2 things. He made it real simple for me. He said, bro, you're going to pray for 2 things. Because I used God as Santa Claus when I was needing something. Or a parachute when I was in trouble, right? He explained it to me, man, we're going to start praying for 2 things. We're going to pray to be helpful to people and to do God's will every day. He made it real simple. And I've been doing that, guys. And I get asked to come speak places. And all these opportunities pop up when I just follow God, dude. Step 12, man, is what I'm here to do tonight. And that's just carry a message to alcoholics and addicts who are still hurting. You know, I got a passion for this thing. I know Chad does too, some of y'all. I got a passion. I think the key to this, guys, I told somebody recently, a guy I'm working steps with right now, I sat him down and I said, hey man, I want you to know that my very sobriety depends on this right here, just as much as yours does. Because working with others, guys, a whole chapter about it, where we don't just sit on gold, now we got to give this what we have freely, we got to give it away. And I've learned, man, working with other people is the most fulfilling. It's the most fulfilling thing, man, because my past is given purpose. The book talks about the message that can hold these alcoholics. It has to have depth and weight, right? So my past and some of what I've shared with you, that gives it depth and weight, you know, because I've been there. I think that's why this works, man. We get together and there's a connection. I don't even have to know you that long. If I see you in these rooms, most of the time we connect because we had a common problem. And I believe we have a common solution. And that's my experience with the steps. Step 12, I go to detox meetings and I share my story. I do this kind of stuff when I get an opportunity. I come to my meetings, I share. And I just try to be as helpful as possible with people around me. And when I do that, guys, I'm not miserable, I'm happy. And I'll say this and be quiet because I want y'all to hear what you got to say. But since I've been in this program, this is just me. Me and my wife got marriage counseling. We're back together. We'll be married 10 years next month. I got full custody back on my children not too long ago, right? I got to move back home in the house I bought. I'm working full time. I've got a vehicle. I'm holding down a job. What else? I'm playing bass at a church now. Never thought I'd be a church. I'm not really a church person, but it's an opportunity to be helpful. And guys, every day when I get up, I can look in the mirror now. You know, the obsession to drink and use has been removed from me. It has. Some of y'all understand that's a real experience that's here for you, man. I don't go around fighting drugs and alcohol no more. I've been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected, contingent on the maintenance of my spiritual condition, like the book says. And this is a beautiful life. Recovery's the way to go, man. It's beautiful. I'm doing stuff, just telling my friends. I'm doing stuff I never thought. I'm going on vacation next weekend. I'm vacationing now, man. Things are going better. I have 2 years sober, man. My problems are there. Sober people problems, man. AC ain't working today, right? But I'll tell you to be quiet. Guys, I found out that peace is real. I found peace after all that stuff. There's peace at the end of there's peace and freedom. There's some promises that will come true for you in the 12 steps. Love y'all. Appreciate you. Thanks for letting me go.